people listening, this is why you got to go see live comedy.
Yeah.
Spontaneous little things like that happen.
Yeah.
And even if you go a lot, like I go a lot, there's still these spontaneous moments that can happen that make it magical.
Like you think going to see a magician live is cool? You got to realize that the magician has practiced that trick. He's made that dove disappear and reappear. Whereas like when a comic does crowd work, like that trick's never been done.
Never.
They don't even know.
It's literally in the moment.
They don't know if the dove's going to come back alive or not. So when you have good crowd work, it's like way better than any magic trick there could be because
100%.
No one knows if the lady's going to be put back together from after she's been sawed in half. When you're doing crowd work, you're like almost 2-3 steps ahead because you're like, whatever they answer, if it's the answer I was looking for, I'm going left. If it's the answer I wasn't looking for, I'm going right.
Yes.
Or if it's so fucking weird, I can do a complete U-turn and just jump straight back into material.
Right.
So
there's all these.
That's why live comedy is the best. Go see it.
Go see it. Oh.
It's so much more fun when you get those experiences. If you go to a local comedy show, there's going to be more fun. It's in a bar, right? It's not in a theater, so the intimacy with the crowd is so much more.
Bigger.
So it's there.
You feel like you're kind of part of it in a way.
Oh yeah, you do.
But don't talk back. Don't talk back too much.
Yeah.
I gotta say that you're part of it, but not too much.
At no point as an audience member should you ever feel like you're helping the show.
Oh, dear God.
Didn't you love it when I said that word? Didn't I was helping you there. I was setting you up. It's like, no, you weren't. You were being terrible.
Oh, my God. And again, talking back to the comedians. It's not a conversation unless they actually ask you a question.
Yeah.
You can't just, like, respond to one of their jokes.
It's an interesting thing when you when you encounter people because sometimes what it'll be is like you'll ask a question and majority of people who come to comedy shows are too scared to initiate, right? They're too scared.
That's me.
But then
I'm
you
terrified.
get the other person where it's like, oh, I tend to think of myself as a little bit of a comedian as well. So then they think that you can be like, how you doing tonight? You'll be like, had a bad day. I stepped in dog poop. You're like, I don't care. You're just supposed to say, woo! And then I'm going to get into my jokes.
Exactly.
But if you but that's why opening the floor to like crowd work is so fun, but it can go, if you don't have the reins on it, you don't know exactly where it is. You don't know how to, you have to ask a question in such a specific way that they can only answer in one way, or else it just goes off on a fucking rampant path about you hearing about like, oh, you can't say that.
Right.
Like it's insane. Crowd work to me is like the end all be all. Like I love seeing crowd work.
I do too.
Because I know jokes already, and you know jokes because you've watched enough comedies where you've done the math on it, right?
Yep.
So if you're like me, you watch people and you try and beat them to the punchline in your own head, because I'm always just like, okay, how would I write this joke? Would I do the same thing they're doing? And I try and see if I can get to where they're going before they do, because I want to see where their head was at when they're writing the joke. Whereas an audience member, they're just like brain off.
They're just taking
I'm
it
not
in.
doing the math, right?
Yeah, they're not.
So that's why people love to go see like Jim Gaffigan and stuff like that, because it's great, because they don't need that stuff because they're not thinking about it. They're just waiting for it to be spoon fed. Whereas people who see comedy a lot, people who see comedy often, who are part of the comedy scene, I mean, I speak for myself maybe, and maybe you can relate too, is when I'm watching in a different perspective nowadays. So whenever I see crowd work, it always makes me laugh even more, because I know like spontaneity of it, like the absolute tightrope that people walk with it.